It is a lovely sunny spring day here in the UK and I am with my Lotus Exige S. And in this video, I'm going to give you a review and try not to be too biased. There are some downfalls of this car, but generally I do fear this could be peak motoring. Find out. Now, what better way to start off the video than answering a question a lot of people have when they see me and this car in general. Luke, how do you get in and out? Well, through the door mainly, but to make it look good, let's just clarify, I'm 6 foot in trainers. Without them, 5'11" and a bit. Okay, right, simple as, right, left foot in, down into the driving position, a bit of a twist, a bit of a rotate, and then bum in first and you just fold in. Easy. I'm in. Granted, it's not the most majestic way to get in and out of a car, but okay, let me show you getting out now. Obviously open the door, easy as. Right foot out, basically just reverse. Now, it's important not to lean on the A-pillar, because apparently they can flex, but either way, you can use the steering wheel if you want to, and you sort of fold yourself out like that. And then a little twist, Bob's your uncle. How do you like that? Right, now I've got that out of the way, let me give you a rundown of the car. This is an Exige S. This is a very early supercharged model. So it's a 2ZZ Toyota engine with a supercharger, producing 220 brake horsepower through a 6-speed manual gearbox. Now, the Lotus nerds amongst you might notice these side panels and the wing and the front splitter are in grey. Now, if this is an S, Luke, wouldn't they be body coloured? Yes, they would, but the previous owner had them resprayed in the grey just to break up the red. It's a chilly red. I love the colour, but I don't know how I feel about the grey. I think I'd rather than body colour, so it's factory, but I do like the fact it breaks it up. I don't know. Let me know what you think about the grey. I would think about getting carbon fibre maybe. One of the other things I want to do is get the wheels silver, but, you know, down the line. Car weighs around 930 kilos. It's all fiberglass body panels with an aluminium chassis. 0 to 60 is alleged 4.1 to 4.3 seconds and a top speed all the way up to 148 miles an hour. Now, that is not where this car shines, the top speed is 0 to 60, although those are pretty impressive figures. Top speed, granted, not crazy, but 0 to 60 in 4.1 seconds through a manual gearbox is pretty damn good if you ask me. Now you can watch me fold in from this angle. And we're in. Perfect, it's like I've done it before. Now, this particular car is a Touring and Sports Plus package, which means it has luxuries as well as the sporty bits. Now, the luxuries, are you ready for the features? Carpets, stereo, and AC, which doesn't work. Oh yeah, it is luxury. It's basically the same as my Lexus I had, to be honest. Now, don't worry, I'm not going to bore you with the whole history of Lotus as a brand, but it is important to note, without the Lotus Elise, Lotus wouldn't exist. The S1 was absolutely integral to the brand's survival. Now, moving on from that, the S2 Exige came out in 2004, initially powered by a 2ZZ naturally aspirated engine, producing 189 brake horsepower only, which was the same as the Elise 111R, which did bring some criticisms. Why would I get an Exige if the Elise is the same power? It's not necessarily faster. Yes, it has some aerodynamics, but is that much faster? So what Lotus did was slap a supercharger on it and made the Exige S, which this is. So it's got 220 brake horsepower, and basically, they kept going up from there. There's S240s, S260s, which mean 240, 260 brake horsepower. Loads of special editions. There's also supercharged Elises. Basically, the models, there is so many. If you're not sure what to get, there will be one for you, whether it's a Rover engine, whether it's a Toyota engine, whether it's supercharged, NA, whatever it is. There's loads of different variations, but basically, the S2 Exige is my favorite. This is very iconic to me. It makes me think of the Apache helicopter on Top Gear episode, if you know, you know. And also Need for Speed, Gran Turismo, those sort of things. This is such an iconic look for me. The 4 headlights at the front, even these circular, they kind of give me 458 vibes at a reach, and I just absolutely love it. Now, you'll be happy to hear enough yapping. Let's go for a drive. Driving my Lotus Exige S. Now, the first thing you notice when you get in this car, well, one, off the bat, how small it is. Luckily, there's no one sat here, but if they are very, very close to you. So that is one of the immediate things you notice. Other than that, driving position, pedals are kind of cramped. They're okay, but I'm size 10 feet. I'm wearing some Nike trainers. They're a bit bulky. And if you're not careful, you could hit multiple pedals at once. So that is something to consider if you have big feet. Similarly, driving ergonomics, the steering wheel's good size, nice and small. I like the wheel, but it is a tiny bit too far away because my knees kind of hit the back, because if I try and heel and toe, it sort of gets a bit cramped back here. Yes, I could go further back, but then my arms are too straight. There's a combination to be had, and I think a little hub or something to bring it a bit closer to me and I can sit further back and my knees can be straighter. I think that's a combination for me, but considering I'm around 6 foot, I have a decent amount of headroom, not loads. I'd fit the helmet in here. This is kind of sagging a little bit, so the headliner does go up a little bit more. Not too bad. Space is fine. long journeys with someone next to you may not be ideal, but yeah, not too bad of a place to be. Continue with ergonomics, visibility. Now rear visibility is non-existent, as in there's literally no rear view mirror, and all you can see behind you is the intake to the intercooler. So no rear visibility. The mirrors are decent size, but sometimes when you're maneuvering you do have to sort of give yourself one of these and try and get the right angle to make sure you can see. Not the best, but out the front, now that is really good. It's low strung windscreen because obviously there's no engine in the front, so very low sitting nose. You can see these sort of bulges either arch, so you really know where the wheel is, where the front end is. It gives you proper confidence while driving. A proper supercar sort of slopey, curvy windscreen. That is something I noticed straight away when you see in this car. Just the driving position and visibility out the front is absolutely brilliant. Now moving on to driving dynamics, the one thing I said when I went to record this video is I will not mention the term go-kart, not once throughout this whole video other than that, okay, so bear that in mind. But the steering, absolutely unbelievable. No power assisted, but you don't need it. When you're maneuvering at low speeds, okay, it's a bit, but once you're up in speed, it is so direct, so tactile, so communicative, all of those words, all of those things that everyone says about Lotus steering is true, and it's the best I've ever felt, and it is so good. Pair that with this. And you're in for a good time, and that you do have, that is for sure. So that can bring me nicely onto the gearbox and powertrain. Now the gearbox is not unbelievable, but it's not that bad. I'm gonna go here, thank you. But the powertrain, and the noise is absolutely unbelievable. Can you believe that's a 4-cylinder that sounds like that? The best sounding 4-cylinder I've ever heard, and although the gearbox isn't perfect, it's not S2000, it's not MX-5, it's really not bad. It's not far off. It's not the best thing in the world, but everything else makes up for it, and you get used to it, so it's really not a problem. And the whole driving experience is just, oh my goodness. I could go on for 20 minutes just talking about the experience and how it makes you feel, and the noises and the ergonomics. That is one thing, this car is quick. I mean, the first time I put my foot down, I was like, what? I couldn't actually believe how quick it was. Now, coming from a 5-litre naturally aspirated V8, bags of torque, bags of power, but bags of weight. Now, with this car, it's got a good amount of power, a good amount of torque, and a great amount of weight, and it makes a massive difference. Also, being so low to the ground, of course, you feel that sensation of speed more. Sometimes I try and articulate into words how this car feels. I don't think I can. It's really difficult to translate to you how good it feels without actually going on driving one. Now, I've watched loads of videos on these cars, don't get me wrong, and it does think, oh wow, that looks cool, that looks fun. It just times it by 10. I cannot get across to you how good this is. I've driven quite a few cars, I'm lucky to have driven a lot of cars, and this is, I'm going to say it, the best car I've ever driven. Now, granted, I haven't driven supercars, I haven't driven loads and loads of sports cars, I've driven good low entry sports cars, good options all over the board, 30 grand, 40 grand cars max. So yes, it's a different pedigree of these sort of cars, but in terms of attainable sports cars, I cannot see it getting better than this. I genuinely cannot. What more do you need? When I first drove this, I was staggered by the noise. I thought, okay, it will sound good. I've never driven a car with the engine behind you before like this. Okay, maybe it will sound good. Oh my God, it's unbelievable. Supercharger intake is on this side, the left side. Like I say, I could go on about driving dynamics all day until the bloody cows come home. But again, now I've got a bit of stretch of road. Let me shut up and just listen to this. for you is if you've come from a car that is front-engined, rear-wheel drive, it is different when you're near the limit, very different. The weight is over the back. You're on the brakes when you're turning like I just was, or you turn a bit hard, it can rotate, and it does rotate. Bear that in mind. Now, you know, I'm not going mega fast, obviously going the speed limit, but it can bite you. So bear that in mind if you're going to get one and drive on the limit, especially in the wet, because once it goes round. Another positive about driving a small sports car like this, emphasis on the small part of that sentence. You can have fun on a British B road, on a little country lane, and not worry too much about something coming the other way and taking your wing mirror off. That is important. That is really important. Now, that also gives you confidence with the placement and with the shape of the windscreen and the sloping nose. You can really place it where you want. The ride, when you're going slow, is quite firm. Now, this is the Sports Plus package, which I mentioned before, which means it has an LSD, upgraded suspension with reservoirs, adjustable dampers, things like that. They're set to relatively firm right now, but not massively firm. And it is very compliant. When you're going slow, and of course potholes and the state of the roads of the UK at the moment, it is pretty bad. But once you're up to speed, it really feels comfortable, very compliant, very nice. And it just definitely sort of gives you that confidence to push on, because what you wouldn't want, especially in a car like this, is jumping around, skipping over bumps and being a bit skittish. You know, you want it to feel planted, and sort of having that suspension suck up the bumps definitely gives you that. Even if you're crawling at 30 miles an hour, it still feels special. And that is what cars like this should do, feel special. It's an occasion, it's a sense of occasion every time I drive. And I just love it. I'm absolutely in love with it. And I've got a lot more videos planned with this car. I've got some comparisons lined up. I've got some more artsy videos, let's say. Save the analog cars. Get out there and drive something analog. Enjoy it. Cheers. Thank you so much for watching this video on my Lotus Exige S. It is brilliant. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. I love it. Yes, it's got some downfalls, but what car doesn't, hey? Drop me a subscribe, drop me a like. I would appreciate it. Again, thank you. Cheers.